It was July 17th, 1994 in California, USA. The heat was intense. But even with the heat, outside the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena, fans flooded the streets in yellow and blue jerseys, vendors shouted at each other, police struggled to control the crowd. Inside the stadium, nearly 95,000 fans were shouting and chanting. The match was intense between Italy and Brazil, two football empires, one World Cup. And somewhere inside the storm stood Robert Baggio, the quiet football player with a ponytail who has become the soul of Italy. But this story did not begin in the final. It began weeks earlier when Italy looked completely finished. From the start of the football tournament, the Italian team looked weak and confused. Their football passing was very poor and their attack lacked energy. Fans back home were furious, and some headlines called the team embarrassing. And even worse of all, Robert Baggio himself was struggling physically. His legs were damaged from injury, and some days he could barely train properly. Yet, every time Italy entered the field, people still look at him with expectation. Because when everything collapsed around Italy, Baggio was the only one thing that still worked. Then came the round of 16 against Nigeria. Nigerian players were fast, aggressive, and fearless. Early in the game, they scored, and Italy looked shocked. Passes failed, players panicked, minutes went very fast. Nigeria almost destroyed the team. As the match entered the final moments, Italian fans inside the stadium looked defeated. Some covered their faces, others stared blankly ahead. Then, with only a few minutes left before the final whistle, Baggio appeared. A quick movement inside the penalty area, a slow shot, and goal. Suddenly, Italy was revived and the game entered extra time. Nigerian players looked exhausted, but Baggio looked dangerous. Every touch from him carried tension. Then, Italy won a penalty. Baggio stepped forward and calmly buried the ball into the goalpost, and Italy won. The newspapers the next morning had only one message: Baggio saved them. Then came Spain. One more intense battle, one more difficult night. Again, Baggio delivered. Another goal, another rescue mission from Baggio. Then the semi-finals against Bulgaria. At this point, Italy no longer looked like a team carried by tactics or teamwork. They looked like a nation being dragged forward by one talented footballer refusing to let go. Baggio scored twice against Bulgaria. Two cold, deadly finishes, and Italy reached the World Cup final. But there was a problem nobody could ignore anymore. Baggio's body was breaking down. During training before the final match, he struggled badly with pain in his thigh. Every sprint hurt. Every sharp movement felt dangerous. Doctors were valuable. They worked constantly to prepare him for Brazil. Some people believe he should not even start the match. But there was no way Italy could enter a World Cup final without Robert Baggio. Then came the final itself. Brazil entered the match with confidence. Their squad was filled with stars: Romario, Bebeto, Dunga, fast, technical, ruthless players, while Italy entered like survivors of war. The match was intense from the beginning. Defenders hunted attackers aggressively. Every inch of space had to be fought for. And Baggio moved differently now. Not explosive, not free, but careful. His injury was obvious. Sometimes he would even walk instead of running, and sometimes he bent slightly, trying to manage the pain. Yet, Brazil still feared him whenever the ball reached his feet. Because even while injured, Baggio could destroy a game in 1 second. 90 minutes passed and the scoreline was zeros. Extra time began. Players collapsed from cramps, shirts were soaked with sweat, legs looked heavy as stone. Nobody wanted to make the mistake that could decide the World Cup. Still, there were no goals. Then came penalties, the most merciless ending football can offer. No tactics, no teamwork, just pressure. Pure pressure. Brazil scored first, Italy answered. Then Italy missed and Brazil scored again. Another Italian missed followed. Then the pressure became unbearable. The camera kept cutting to faces in the crowd. Some were crying, some were praying, while some could not even watch the match anymore. Then Robert Baggio began his walk. Slowly, he left the center circle and moved slowly towards the penalty spot. The stadium roared louder with every step. Commentators screamed his name around the world. This was the moment. The man who carried Italy for weeks now had to save them one more time. He placed the ball carefully on the spot, then stepped backward. Across from him stood Brazilian goalkeeper Claudio Taffarel, watching quietly. The noise inside the stadium suddenly felt distant. Baggio stared at the goalpost. One shot, that was all. If he scored, Italy still had hope. And if he missed, Brazil becomes world champion. He inhaled slowly and ran forward and struck the ball with power. Too much power. The ball flew upward into the California sky and disappeared over the crossbar. For a split second, the entire stadium froze. Then Brazil erupted. Fans waved yellow flags widely. Fireworks exploded above the stadium roof. But the cameras stayed focused on one figure, Baggio, standing completely still, hands on his hip, head lowered, not moving. While Brazil celebrated around him, he looked almost disconnected from reality, like a soldier left standing after losing the final battle. That image became immortal. One missed kick transformed into the most famous moment of football history. To many people, that penalty became his identity. But football fans who truly understand the game knew something deeper. Without Robert Baggio, Italy would never even have reached that final. He dragged them there through pain, pressure, and pure determination. Years later, people still replay the missed penalty, but they also remember the terrifying pressure of that moment. Because millions dream of becoming heroes, but very few are brave enough to walk towards the spot when the entire nation or the entire world is waiting for them to fail. If you like stories like this, follow my page for more.